Ruth Posey Stevens was a well-respected journalist. According to the journal. In 1944, Ruth Posey Stevens, nay, Dexter Stevens. You always said of Dexter Stevens, perhaps I will be like him. Ruth and Alpha and Helen. Ruth and Alpha and Helen. Ruth and Alpha and Helen. They were daughters of the Revolution. They were daughters of the American Revolution. They were California sorority girls. Helen Stevens was born in Los Angeles, in fact. She told me she named her sisters Alpha and Ruth. Alpha and Ruth. Alpha and Ruth. Alpha and Ruth. And Helen. Helen Stevens. Ang. Helen Stevens Ang. Helen Stevens Ang. And she'd call him Ronnie. Ronnie, Ronnie. Ronnie, Ronnie. I'd be looking over to Mom and say, Mommy, do they know him? She'd say, Ronnie this and Ronnie that and the euthanasia. Ronnie this and Ronnie that and the euthanasia. I thought, what is it with the euthanasia? What is it with the euthanasia? What is it with the euthanasia? Ransom said, yes, dear. Yes, dear. He had it figured out. He said, yes, dear. He said, yes, dear. He said, sure. He had it figured out. He lived a long, long time. He lived a long, long time. He lived a long, long time. He said, yes, sure. When she asked, he said, yes, sure. Why sure? Why sure? So we've been carrying on. We've been carrying on the great traditions of communism in the San Diego school system. I'm starting to understand. The McCarthy era is never ending. At last, it's never ending. In fact, it's never ending. At last, in fact, it seems we have some problems. We have some problems in our nation and the world. We have some problems in the nation and the world. We have some problems in the nation and the world. Langley, Virginia, was in your novel, and a man named Helms crawled with ivy. A man named Helms. It's a medical experimentation. It seemed to be quite directly, in fact, related to MK Ultra and My Lai. In which order? Or the drugs. You called it the Decentralized Stupidity Agency. The Decentralized Stupidity Agency. That could be the other name for the book that you wrote. The book that you wrote. My father, in fact. Don't look back. The first time we listened to Bob Dylan, I thought most certainly my parents must be crazy. They're making me listen to the ravings and rantings of this lunatic man. Oh dear, were my parents hippies. It's hard to tell, they almost named me Melody Rainbow. You said, no, Anne, we can't name her Melody rainbow. We cannot name a rainbow. We cannot name a rainbow. We cannot name a rainbow. We cannot. We cannot name a rainbow. Nicaragua was on your mind, and draft dodging half the time, and Soho, Satanist in London, and Sherlock Holmes, and Sherlock Holmes. Nobody knows but the Washington Post. The Washington Post files and the JFK flashback. The JFK flashback, and indeed it was a getaway car. It was a getaway car, but you don't get far in the deep, dirty South with the death threats. You have death threats, but don't let them forget they haven't got you, and they haven't got me yet. They haven't got you, and they haven't got me yet. We can run away together and I'm lost in California without you. So lost, I wish I'd spend my years beside you. My years beside you, my father. There's nothing more I'd rather do. You like that one? Okay, now I'm going to fish.